Thanks for tuning in on today's episode of the Agent Spotlight at ProLinks Realty. I'm sitting down with one of our top producers, Santiago Jaraba, the head broker and owner of Whitestone Real Estate and a broker at ProLinks Realty. Santiago has built an impressive track record with over $300 million in total sales volume throughout his entire career, and he's currently leading a team of 30 total agents and specializes across multiple markets from Connecticut to New York. He specializes in residential and also commercial real estate. What really stands out is not just the volume, but how he's been able to grow, adapt, and stay in a constantly changing market. Today, we're going to dive into his story, the mindset behind his success, and how he's preparing for the future of real estate in a rapidly evolving AI-driven world.
That's correct.
Santiago, my first question for you is, take us back to the beginning. What originally drew you into real estate, and what was the turning point that made you partner up with ProLinks Realty?
Definitely. Thank you, Adam, for inviting me. And like you said, and I was talking about it this morning with different agents, we have to adapt to the new changes of the real estate, the new ways of doing real estate.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't evolve, you're going to be left behind.
Yes.
And then you're not going to sell the business. That's the reality of it. And I think that the real estate world is very different from where I started. And I started 7 years ago in 2019. So it's not like a century ago, but it was pre-COVID. It was a pre-COVID world. Prices were definitely lower, right? It was just different back then, right? I don't even know the 7 years, but things have changed for sure.
For sure. And that's a relatively short period of time. I mean, 7 years seems like a lifetime, but it's also, when you zoom out of things, it's a short period of time. And it's incredibly impressive what you have accomplished in that 7 years, right?
7 years, correct. Yeah. So I started as a loan officer assistant, technically, when I got into this business. I was in college. I have a degree in finance. I went to the University of Bridgeport, that's located in Connecticut, and I have a bachelor's in finance. I graduated in 2021. So I got my license while I was in college. Well, the first license that I got was the Connecticut license. And then in 2021, I got the New York license. The reciprocity, back then you didn't have to take a test.
Right.
So you only pay for the fee, and that was enough to get licensed in the state of New York. And since 2021, I've been doing closings in New York as well. I was always interested in doing business in New York, and that's how I started coming down here. So sometimes I know a lot of people that do it the other way around. They live in the city for a long time and they want to go to other areas to retire or just to start a new life. For me, it's the opposite because I think that where people my age want to be in the city and want to get to know people, and I have met great people in the city. A lot of my clients come from New York City. So we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for New York City. That's part of it. Part of the success that we had is the majority of our clients come from New York City. So I was a loan officer assistant in 2019. Learned a lot of the loan process, how to pre-approve a client, and even what happens after you've been an offer accepted, what happens behind the scenes in the bank, I was working there with the processors, seeing how they collect the conditions to get a loan clear. So I did all of that before even getting the license in real estate. I was just an assistant, just seeing what they were doing. Yeah. But I also met people that were already agents and people that were in the industry and attorneys. So that's what I think got me into the business. I got into the business and then COVID happened. And my first year, I only did rentals. For COVID, I did rentals. The entire 2020 year, I did rentals. 2021, I started having some buyers. But my first contract that I got was during COVID.
Nice.
The most of the things I was doing back then, they were just rentals.
Right.
Just rentals.
And it's very different than what you are doing today, right? And that's what we're here to discuss, and how you've kind of developed and changed your strategies through that time, right? From adapting. But what I'm hearing is you had a fantastic foundation, right? Just learning the other side, the finance side and the lending side of things, and taking in the processes. I believe that's how it has allowed you to, build your own brokerage, lead teams, and perform the volume that you currently do.
100%. It's definitely very different. I didn't even think that real estate, I didn't think about how big it could go back then, right? I saw it as a source of income, or a way of making extra income, because I was at another job back then. But I didn't think, little did I know that was gonna lead me to leading a team and making money, right? It's not just about making money, but also about what you're building for the future, and that's part of it, right? So we had great years. So far, just myself, I've been able to help over 300 families throughout my career. That's without counting what my team has done too. So it's about building those relationships.
Absolutely.
And expanding. So now our goal is to dominate the New York and Connecticut market, and that's what we're doing.
I love that. I love that. You have a contender's mentality, and the ambition in the fire is what really drives you, not just, for what you and your team accomplish, but for those that you help, right? The families and the clients that you've built long-term relationships with, right? So this leads into my next question for you. So what are some, when you first started, what are the biggest obstacles you faced? And what did those early struggles teach you that still shapes how you operate today?
Well, definitely, it's a tough industry. People always doubt you, right? So you have to overcome that. And one of the challenges that I faced were my age. So since I started at a young age, you get judged by that, right?
Yes, for sure.
By the people, by the clients, and by the same people in the industry. Yeah, they think that you don't know what you're doing and that you're just here for a short period of time. I think that people really underestimated what I was able to doing. Now I don't know if they still do, but I know a few that did. And that plays a big role when you're 22, when you're 20, 21. During that age, when you're 19, you do believe and you take things personal, right? Especially when you're starting this business. In this business, you cannot take anything personal, 100%. Right? But it's hard to understand that when you don't come from a family that has been going to this business. And on top of that, if you come at a young age, it's also challenging. Yes. So overcoming that is definitely something that I would say was one of the main things.
For sure. I mean, I could definitely resonate with that. When Lily and I started, without aging myself, started our business a long time ago. We were in our 20s, and wherever we went and we tried to pitch, future clients and everything like that, they would just look and say, hey, how old are you? What are you, like 17, 18? And, it's one of those things where, for me personally, I definitely resonate and agree with that feeling, because I had that as well. It kind of puts a chip on your shoulder. But I think that's good, because what it does is it drives you, because the hardest part in this business, or any sales business in general, is having the thick skin, because you're going to hear more no's than you're going to hear yes, right? And the only way to really get through that is to truly believe in yourself, and not in a way of believing in yourself and say, oh, I'm the best and I could do it. No, you put in the work, you put in the consistency, right? Over time, your competence is going to allow you to get that confidence that allows you to say, hey, I am capable. I am who I say I am, right? And I see that in you, and how you run your teams, and how you approach, your clients, and just your collaborators as well, right? So I definitely feel that was a driving point for me, and early in my career as well. But at your level of success, it doesn't happen by accident, right? Like you had strategies, you had structures, right? What kind of mindset, habits, or daily disciplines do you rely on to consistently perform and grow? Like, do you have like a ritual, like something you do in the morning? Right.
I think you gotta be doing things that are related to the business. I always say that, like, you always have to be busy, but I mean, you gotta define what busy means, right? Busy could mean, I don't know, doing the laundry, but right? It's not about just being busy, it's about being busy doing things that are related to the business, right? So if I'm not calling, I'm dealing with new clients, if not, I'm training agents, if not, I'm recruiting, if not, I'm recording, because that's the way I cold call. I don't cold call anymore because I get referrals, a lot of referrals. But not only that, I cold call by recording videos to attract new clients. So I'm always doing something that's business related. I don't waste. You're not gonna see me on a random Tuesday at 2 p.m. just hanging out with my friends or going to the movies. I'm working, right? And it's about consistency, right? When I was as an agent, I used to be always on the phone. Now that I have a team and then I can rely on the people that work with me, instead of just calling prospecting, I'm doing things that will help my business grow, right? Thinking about new strategies, training, getting maybe coaching, right? Or if not, calling people or recording. So I would say that part of it is just you have to the discipline and spend your time doing things that are gonna help your business.
That's great, but yeah.
Yeah, because I know people that they want to be successful, but then they go to the movies on a random Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Right.
So you gotta know when is the right time to do certain things, right? It's not bad if you go to the movies they don't win on a Wednesday at 2 p.m. Right? You should be working, you should be calling, you should be doing things. If you're just an agent, you should be calling new clients, prospecting, calling past clients, finding ways to get more clients, doing events, doing seminars, doing videos, live. So you gotta be on everything.
For sure. A lot of agents chase deals, but you've built something much bigger. How do you personally define success at this stage of your career?
It's not just about chasing deals, right? Because when you chase deals, it feels like you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? The moment you stop, then everything else stops. In this stage, it's about growing more, right? And duplicating what I do and teaching people how I was able to go from 0 to selling hundreds of houses, right? And when you do that, you grow bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that I think of it from an entrepreneurial standpoint, right? It's about the impact. It's about how do you efficiently have your team and yourself, back to the last question or the last answer that you gave. I think it was very, very, very precise and clear, right? It's about efficiency of time, and it's about how much impact you can make with that time. Right. And I think a lot of people who wonder or are looking from the outside of what we do in the real estate industry, see, these, some agents have a lot of free time and they don't if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? In the sense of, as you said, the discipline, the consistency to be a top producer, the consistency to build those relationships, because it's not just about, as you said, it's not just about reaching out and calling, but it's also about collaboration with everybody else, right? You got lenders, you've got all types of collaborators that you're working with as well, and in that form, it's a team, right? To make the deal, complicated deals or simple deals, any type of deal, to put that together, it's like, I feel like we're composers of a larger puzzle that allows us to, execute on the goal and the resolution for the clients, right? So, my next question for you is, as a broker and leader, how have those challenges that you went through, right, helped you better train, mentor, and guide your agents and collaborators today?
Well, the challenges and the mistakes, is definitely those are lessons. So I also teach based on that, so we don't repeat the same things and the same mistakes that we made in the past. So I think that's a key factor, right? And some people don't know. Some people question it, especially when they're new. I'm like, you don't know, you have no idea what's out there. But yeah, we try to teach based on that as well. So we don't. I see that as saving time.
Right.
You gotta save time, not making the same mistakes. So that way, we make sure that everything's sufficient. So that's what we said. Duplicating, delegating. That when you do that, you give out opportunities, but it also helps you build your business. For sure, instead of just being out there showing 20 houses, you could get an opportunity to the agents that want to build a business as well, right? So that's a structure that we are trying to create.
Yeah. And yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I see you give those opportunities, and it allows, especially for agents who are starting out, it allows them to gain that experience, right, under your guidance, right? And at the same time, I've also seen, a lot of your content share a lot of great information, right? And I think that's where it shines the most, because those pieces of information were generated from things that you've encountered in your past, things that didn't go as smooth, or lessons, as you say, that you've learned over the years, right? And it cuts down the time for, let's say, a newer agent who's coming into the business, and you're able to give them that wisdom, right? So, yeah. My next question is, after everything you've accomplished, what still excites you the most about real estate, and what makes you love what you do today versus 5 years ago? Like, what has changed, and like, maybe a better way to phrase the question is like, what gets you super excited?
Great question. I think that I'm just getting started. I think that I have a long way to go. I mean, you gotta compare yourself to people that are very successful, and that's one of the things that I was thinking about, and the reason why I moved to New York, because, yeah, maybe at my level, if you're on the top already, but over here is the entry level. I mean, look at Manhattan, the city. Man, you could get listings for 50 million, 20 million. So I think that we still have a long way to go. We were able to dominate a certain community and a certain market, but I definitely think that we still have a long way to go. And what motivates me is seeing people that are going way better than me, and people that are doing what I want to do to be able to get to more.
Nice. Yeah. So you look at, you feel like everything is, you're still, how do I put it? You're looking forward to different pinnacles of success within the real estate, right?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you compare me with a random realtor in Oklahoma, yes. I mean, maybe I made it, right? But if you compare me to Ryan Serhan, I'm just at the entry level, right? So I want to go after, in a sense, I want to, how would I put it? I don't want to be a copycat or something like that. But I follow people, and sometimes I say, I would like to do what they have done.
No, 100%. Yeah. You echo, inspiration from other people, right? Like recently, I saw you and Ralph went down to Miami for one of the conventions, right? And I thought, wow, this is great. Like, this is
amazing.
Yeah, like your content you guys filmed down there was awesome.
It was great, and I met great people, and that's what I'm telling you. Over there, I met people that are making millions.
Yeah.
So then you compare yourself to them, and then you say, yes, I have a lot of work to do, a long way to go. But that's fine. I mean, when you compare yourself with other people to get better and improve, that's good.
Yes.
Not to make yourself feel bad,
Right.
right? Because everybody started at some point. But I don't feel like I'm done. I feel like I have a long way to go.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's done until we take our last breath, right? Like, yeah, and that's what I love about your mentality, and I resonate with you, because no matter what pinnacle I feel for me, right, that I can reach or reference to, at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's ever appropriate to kind of stop learning and improving, right? Because I think for me, that's what is exciting for me, is to say, hey, can I be better than what I was yesterday? And can I do, what kind of things can I implement, or what kind of things can I try, even though that's a scary thing for most human beings, right? Because people are usually afraid of change, right? And the ones who really lead are the ones who face change head on, right? Where, at least for me, I feel like, I can look stupid for a little bit, but I won't look stupid forever, right? When I'm trying something that's out of my realm, out of my wheelhouse, right? And I feel that might be the same for you.
Yeah, I guess the point where it's not enough.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you ask myself from 6 years ago that I would be here, I wouldn't have lived it, because of my mindset. My mindset has changed a lot, and real estate has played a big factor on that. I think that my life is not the same because of real estate, and that's a good thing. Your mindset is everything. But as you grow, you gotta learn from those who are at the level that you want to be. Otherwise, you might stay at the level that you are forever.
Right.
And that's why we sometimes encounter people that have been in the business for over 30 years, and they're still a solo agent, right, opening doors. I wouldn't want to be like that. I think that there's more to life than just
Yeah.
being an agent.
No, and yeah, I agree. I think, there's a saying that they say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? And, a lot of people, once they find their 5, they always stay in that circle, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's great, but there's an aspect, at least for me, to constantly be out there and network and just kind of learn from people, and also offer, any value that I can to them, and that's like kind of like a mutual thing. But, I think it becomes almost like a religion for me, where meeting new people and being interested about their story. And this is why I do a lot of these podcasts, right? It's because, just sitting down for 20, 30 minutes speaking with you, I've already gotten a sense of, your aura, and it is very congruent or equal to the content you put out. You're not just there blowing smoke and fluffing up everything to be a salesperson, but you're out there putting out information and building collaborations and teams that allows you to escalate to the next goal or to the next level. And then you'll do that again. Once you reach that level, you do it again, but you'll do it a different one,
There are levels to this, and I mean, I think that there is a long way to it. Like, when I went to Florida 3 weeks ago, and you meet people that are making millions in those events,
Right.
which I recommend. Whenever you should go to the next one. And by the way, there's another one in Las Vegas.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yes.
When is that? In June?
It's on next September.
Oh, September. Okay.
I'm going with Rafael and Andrew so far.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not gonna know Andrew yet, but he works with me too. But if you want, we can definitely meet over there. It's great. It's work. Networking is great. Business. I've been to different conventions. But that one's one of the best ones so far.
Yeah. No, it was, the content you filmed there again was phenomenal. Like I got to see you with a bunch of these influencers that we all know because we follow them, and they truly do have great advice, and it just seemed like a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
I'll take you up on that.
Someone else in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Lillian.
So the last question I have for you is more of a theoretical question, but with AI and technology rapidly changing the industry, how do you see the future of real estate brokerage business evolving, and how are you positioning yourself and your team to stay ahead of that shift?
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that because in the business convention we went to, they talk a lot about AI as well.
Yeah.
I think we have to adapt. We gotta use AI to our advantage. That we use CRM, and the CRM have enough senses that AI follow over the clients,
Right.
and that's just a small tool. But eventually, yes, like you're gonna have AI assistants, you're gonna have AI help you follow clients and send the houses. You gotta use AI to your advantage. Otherwise, if you don't adapt, then you're gonna be out of business. So AI is gonna be key. I don't think we're gonna be replaced by AI because it's a relationship business, but I think definitely it's gonna save us some money on hiring assistants eventually. I think like right now it's like you can notice that it's AI, but I think in a few years to get better, you won't notice.
100%.
And that's gonna help you because think about it, AI can call multiple clients at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna help you get more business. I tried it. It hasn't worked because it still sounds like it's AI. People want to have a real conversation, but I think that eventually it's gonna get to that point.
No, for sure.
So you're gonna use it to your advantage.
Yeah. I think, with agentic AI, as you were saying, like AI agents, right? That's all available for an average person, right? You could spend a few hours on YouTube and you could set up your own Claude bot or, OpenAI agentic, and we've tried that as well, and we have a phone number and everything like that, and for calls and inquiries set up, and I think you're right. Right now, it's not fully there yet, but with this technology, if you're just looking back 2-3 years of just the LLMs of ChatGPT, right? It's gotten so, yeah.
I asked ChatGPT to know.
Yeah. So the one thing that I'm sure you've seen this is, I think around 3 weeks ago, Ryan Serhant had gone on and he told this story about how he was selling a $50 million deal, and the seller jumped on ChatGPT and said, "Hey, I'm going to sell this, this property that I own for $50 million. Do you think it's worth it?" And then ChatGPT said, "No, it's way underpriced. It's worth more." And then the buyer also went on ChatGPT, "Hey, I'm going to pay $50 million for this property. Do you think it's worth it?" Same question. And it said, "Absolutely not. You're overpaying. It's only worth 40, right? So he had broadcasted on his social media and his Instagram of this, and it said basically, he was so frustrated, even though he uses AI and he has his own platform for AI. But what people don't understand is an LLM, such as ChatGPT, it's getting a lot of data from you as the user. It knows you because you've asked it multiple questions and things that you currently do, right? And it's always going to give you an answer that's viable to you. However, everybody involved in that deal, right, from the lawyers to the banks to the agent, right, there's so many nuances to a $50 million deal. It's not clear cut and dry. So, I only bring up that story because we're still not there yet. I think how people look at it is people who are jumping into it, they're like, okay, if AI is going to replace us, then it should be able to, solve all these problems. But that's clearly not the case. And all the nuances is all based off of relationships, right? Do you know the right person to solve that complication in that deal, right? So what I think you said is very accurate in the sense of where we are currently. Now, do I believe that AI is going to streamline and make our workload better? Yes, 100%, right? Like the other day, I had to go through a client's lease that was 110 pages. Reading 110 pages would be very difficult. However, AI is able to kind of simplify these things. And if you're putting in the right prompts in what the AI world calls vibe coding, right? Playing around with how you word your prompts, because it's very, very important. If you put enough detail in your prompt, you are able to kind of get AI to find the nuances in certain details for information. However, you still need to check it. But, sorry, that was a long ramble, but, it's...
It's true, though.
Yeah.
It's true. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
100%. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much...
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much, I think that's, where we're going in the current state. I think, I have other theories that I won't share yet because it's kind of premature, but I do think within the 10-year period of time, it's going to flip some of the trends in real estate. As you know, I used to be a builder, right, for 15 years. And I think with robotics that might come out in 10 or 15 years, it's going to change the efficiency of building in New York City. Like, a lot of real estate and construction is expensive here, right? Because there's a lot of coordination, right? You got to shut down a New York City street to lift, a lot of building materials up. But long story short, there's a lot of dangers and hazard in construction, right? Which is why there's a lot of insurance, workers' comp, and all those things are built into the cost of building, right? And eventually robotics and AI will kind of make that more efficient and more safer. But what it's going to do, I think, might change the landscape that, currently now the building and the structure itself is worth more than the land. But I think somehow eventually it's going to turn the other way, where land is going to be worth more than the structure.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's just a theory. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I feel you're right. Or maybe it's just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, maybe. It's just, it's very out there. But one second. So, just to close out, Santiago, I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story and your insights.
Thank you so much for thinking about me, and I know that we'll do great things. This is just a beginning, 100%. Yes.
No, I think you provided a lot of value in this episode and sharing with the viewers, and I want to congratulate you for your continued success and before we leave, I just want to say, where can our viewers follow you and reach you? And
so you can follow me at Santiago Santiago Jaraba JARBA_realtor. That's my Instagram page, and that's where I post everything. I'll probably have seen it.
yes,
And we help buyers, sellers, anyone. Honestly, our team speaks 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
awesome, perfect. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.